Hi,
Hi. everybody. This is John from AU.
There we go.
Today we're going to
Okay.
talk about WestWorld Season 2, Episode 7. And everybody knows the name of the episode, so we're not going to say it, right?
Yeah, I'm not too good at French. Les Scorche, something like
Le
that.
Ecorches?
Yeah, the S isn't pronounced. Okay, in the first one. There
No,
you go.
The S is pronounced because there's
Is
a
it?
vowel in the second word.
I
Anyways,
took Latin in high school, so I'm not much help with that.
but this is French, so it won't help at all.
Okay, yeah, no, it won't.
So
It
today
doesn't.
we have two guests on the channel, and thanks everybody for coming. Thanks for everybody that's watching a little bit later on. We have Carrie McDonald. Would you like to say hello to Carrie?
Hi.
All the people in the chat?
My name's Carrie. You might have seen me in the live chats. I don't do a YouTube channel, but AU has been nice enough to let me come on and do a live stream with him. So this is my first go around, and so we're here to chat and have a good time.
Many times, if you want to get in touch with me and come on the channel, we'd be glad to have you on. And
yeah, he's super sweet.
Yeah, glad to do it. So she contacted me. This is her first time, so you guys in the chat be gentle. Not too gentle.
It's okay. Yeah, you can give it to me. It's all right.
Yeah. And then of course we have Johnny Be Crazy, who's been on the channel a few times actually, and he's always ready to add stuff to this show, especially with your great theory videos. Would you like to say hi to everybody, Johnny?
Hey everybody, what's up? Glad y'all made it out today, and everybody that's watching later. Thank you, AU, for having me on, and thank you, Carrie, for coming on. It's going to be a pleasure. And a shout out to Gangbangers of Thrones and Cameo. Got to throw that out there.
All right. Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
Before we get really into this, I wanted to share something that Esme Bianca shared on Instagram. And I don't know if you all know who she is, but she's one of my favorite characters in Game of Thrones. She was Roz. And, we just got to see her in the Con of Thrones. A lot of people did an interview with her, but on the Instagram page today, she shared something that was really, really cool. She has a great picture of herself with blood pretty much all over her. And she said that she took this picture at a time that was very, very hard for her. And she wanted to just reach out to everybody in light of what's going on as far as mental health and suicide awareness. Make sure that you reach out and get some help. She gave a phone number for the US. It's 1-800-273-8255. And in the UK, it's 116-123. And that's for the Good Samaritans. Again,
thank you for mentioning that, John. I don't mean to interrupt you, but years ago, I went through something like that. So, I think it's great that you're giving people a place to call and chat with someone. Yes.
Yeah, and that's another thing. The Game of Thrones, especially the YouTube live stream community, you think everybody's doing so great. And then you find out, everybody's got issues. There's nobody, with no exception, that doesn't have issues, and we're all here for each other.
That's awesome. I know. I've met a few people and made some good friends through YouTube and live streams, and people I've already talked to on the telephone, and it's just a great community to be a part of. Game of Thrones and WestWorld, just our whole little nerd group,
Absolutely. So getting back to WestWorld's season 2, episode 7, we started out in a cold open, which has only happened a few times. Can you tell me why you think they, started this episode with a picture of Charlie? I think that was really important.
You want to go first, Johnny, for this one?
Sure, I will. I mean, they're making a really big deal of it, and either if Hale is Charlie, she has a lot of resentment towards Arnold. If he was a real person, me and AU have talked about this in the past. You know, he wasn't with his family, so she could resent him for that, and that could be the reason why she's so mean to her dad's robot, so to say. But they are making a really big deal of it, so it makes you bring back in what everybody calls the tinfoil Charlie theory. So,
well,
yeah.
My thing about it is, how would he? Okay, if he, whenever he was turned into Arnold, I'm assuming right after, or he was, you know, Dolores killed him, and then Anthony Hopkins or Dr. Ford brought him back. When would he have had time to produce another child with his ex-wife? Are people trying to say that he created a simulation of Charlie and put that in Charlotte?
No, I think what they're saying is that Charlie never died as the daughter for Arnold, but for Bernard, that was his backstory.
Okay.
It was portrayed as a son instead of a daughter.
Yeah, they are putting a lot of emphasis on that for him to wake up with the picture. I mean, how did it get in his hand? You know,
did Charlotte
where did it come from? Oh, did she? I didn't see that.
No, that's one of my thoughts.
Charlotte? Okay. Huh? Or did Anthony Hopkins somehow get it to him, or Dr. Ford? I got to stop calling him Anthony Hopkins.
He wasn't in the cradle by then, so he could have got that during his adventure while Ford's controlling him. Yeah, he could have got that somehow then, I guess.
In my opinion, it's a little bit tinfoily for me, but you never know.
Charlie?
Yes, and I know Charlotte is the female equivalent of Charles. Yeah. So it's a possibility. It's just, I don't know. It just seems like maybe it could be a good thing to continue on with the storyline, you know, and things like that. But I don't know. I'm kind of on the not side right now, but that could definitely change.
She just doesn't seem like a 45-year-old woman to me. Like she should be, if the timeline's right, if Charlie was sick at that age. Of course, that could all be wrong as well, because Arnold's Bernard's backstory was an homage to Arnold's. It wasn't an exact backstory.
Yeah, so you think maybe when he did change and just add Arnold full of memories and Dolores's memories, that they decided to make Charlotte a boy instead of a girl?
Right, because of the reason why it's so important is that you want an anchor for the host to constantly be thinking about as a real event. And so the loss of a child is pretty significant. And that's why they're on there. Okay. Thank you so much, Sonia. I appreciate that very much.
Yeah, she's a sweetheart. Love you, Sonia.
So that's one of the things that I think they keep bringing it up, is for the simulation between Charlotte and Charlie.
Okay. I'd love to see it.
Otherwise, as far as the storytelling, it has no real advantage for me.
Yeah, that's kind of how I feel too.
If I know
unless they're trolling us.
Yes.
I would. They need to have Charlotte, or Charlie for that matter, in Bernard's life.
Exactly. I agree with you on that. That's why I'm kind of leaning towards, I don't think Charlotte and Charlie are necessarily the same.
Right. That makes sense. Especially if you don't understand why the backstory is so essential to the host.
Yes. So what do you think, AU, about it? I mean,
well, like I said, I think it's significant because it's a cold open. So that's only happened 4 times in the series so far. And there's no reason for them to do that as far as the storytelling goes.
Okay.
And
gotcha.
Like I said, it is significant in the story of the host. So
okay,
for sure.
All right.
I mean, Ford could manipulate it to where he thinks Charlotte is, uses her as a cornerstone to anchor him as Arnold. But
right.
See, they're still supposedly 1 or 2 years away from perfecting the brain. So I don't know how that's going to work. Ford's being very mysterious right now.
Yeah, I've got a question about next episode, but I'll wait on that because
definitely
we got time. We still got to talk about the first. We still got to talk about last week.
We haven't even gotten through the cold open because right after that, we get Carl Strand, who we haven't seen, say, "Hey guys, I need to talk to you." Yes. And he brings them to the old Ford house based on a quote unquote bloom of DNA. Now, I don't know about you, but what in the world
blood droplet? Maybe.
Well, it wasn't a droplet. It was a literal splatter of Teresa's blood on the wall.
DNA. Okay.
It was a murder scene.
Yes.
Yeah. Why would they be looking for that? Why do you think they would be looking?
Yeah,
for
that's a very good question.
He said that. Oh, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
Go ahead. He said that Teresa had put some kind of distress call out, and her last known location was somewhere in this sector, and then they had found the house. Now, I don't know, I don't know how long they've been looking for it, but I know she did put out a distress call. Also, another thing to note was all the cobwebs in that sealed lab.
Yes, that's
true. How did that happen in 2 weeks?
Yeah, really. And how far is 5 kilometers?
Well, it's more than 5 miles.
More than 5 miles.
It's about 12, 13 miles, somewhere in there.
Okay, so I guess when she was murdered in that old lab, and then they carried her up to the bluffs or to where she was found. That's how the blood was dropped somewhere along the way.
No, they found the bloom of DNA at the house.
Oh, okay. I got you. Okay. Yeah. They didn't specify that, so I wasn't absolutely positive. Gotcha. I mean, her blood's obviously still on the wall. You would think he would have cleaned up maybe a little bit after that, but yeah, that left some evidence wide open. And poor Stubbs. I'm ready for him to just start taking, kicking ass and taking names, really. I mean, poor. And every time I hear Ashley, it reminds me of Gone with the Wind. Oh, Ashley from Scarlett, O'Hara.
That's a movie that me and you would probably recognize, but the most people watching wouldn't have the faintest idea what we're talking about.
Oh, that's a good movie. It's one that
it's literally my top movie of all time. So
I agree, man. I agree. And I can't get my daughter to watch it. Somebody Thunderclap wrote it's over 2.5 miles in the live chat. Okay.
Thunderclap
1 mile.
Stuff like this. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I had forgotten about the live chat. And now I'm like, oh no, I need to be looking on that. Okay.
Not a problem.
So the cold open goes. Go ahead. No, you're in charge. Go ahead.
Am I? Are you sure?
Yes, yes. I'm sorry. I told you I talk a lot.
I love it. So basically they go to the basement and find all of the Bernards.
Yes.
And Johnny commented a couple of times now about the spider webs. And to be honest with you, do you think that means that the house was abandoned by not only Ford, but all of the hosts that he recruited to help him?
Possibly.
I don't know. I think something's wrong with the timeline.
Yeah, and the host that he was making being gone is weird too. What happened to that? the one that he was making in that secret lab. Whoever
and
that was supposed to be.
Unused.
Yes. And then my thing I was talking to AU about is why, when they would burn James Delos every time they needed to redo him, why were all the Bernard host bodies saved?
That could be more of a, Ford was working on him and it's sentimental. Yeah.
Sentimental. Okay.
That's his friend.
What I thought too. Yeah.
Or maybe he likes, robots. If you know what I mean. It is a basement.
He sure has a lot of secret hiding places. Thinking H.H. Holmes,
Exactly.
But the cobweb thing, you know what, Johnny, I didn't even notice that. I mean,
that's the first thing I noticed.
Wow. That does not make sense. I mean, okay, with the timeline, how far before the gala was Teresa murdered? Like pretty much in the third or fourth? No, it was later than that.
Before,
I was gonna say,
maybe?
Yeah, within a week, yeah. Or
okay,
pretty
so
close to it.
That's not enough time really to have. How many spider webs? Was it a lot?
Everywhere, under all the desks, in the corners.
Okay.
I think there might have been some on the Jock the dog.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That was on the table instead of where they were making the host, I think.
In the room that they were making the host in, the machine was gone too, I believe.
Was it? Okay. I think you're right. You're right.
Absolutely.
And I've been watching the episode over and over, and I just didn't pay good attention. Well, that's one of the great things about
all of the live streams and YouTube videos, is that we find so many details about this show that we don't really think about. And I love talking about it with other people too. So
me too. I drive my family crazy because their eyes will just glaze over, when I start going into WestWorld or Game of Thrones.
So one of the things that happens is the Carl Strand is trying to figure out who is the one that has this information. Is it Bernard or is it Stubbs? And Bernard actually is like, stop it, just stop it. And I thought that was that good Samaritan reflex. But what did you guys think? Was that something you paid attention to or no?
Yeah, I did pay attention to it. I thought that he was just going to end up spilling the beans just to save Ashley. I don't know if I guess you would consider it his good Samaritan reflex since he's a host, or it could be Ford in there messing around with his decisions, or...
Well, he wasn't there yet. Right? He wasn't in his brain yet.
This is after, I think. This is with Carl Strand. So he go ahead.
No, I'm just asking the question pretty much.
Okay.
Whether you thought it was
I think like at the same time he was remembering himself murdering Teresa. I think it was also a response in that way. He was like, "Oh crap, I did it. Don't kill him for it." And a good Samaritan response, and also almost a shock response as him remembering it at the same time.
Yes.
So that's my opinion.
I agree with you on that one.
Cool.
I do.
So we finally get to the opening of the show, and we see the QA team, security team, whatever you want to call it. The Coughlin
bunch of idiots. Yes.
And they get their special vest where they're able to see.
Yeah, those are cool. Yeah.
Very cool. So I think one of the problems they didn't realize is that when the host gets shot and fall down, they're not dead. And I think that's what caused them to be defeated right away.
I agree.
Also, that was a body of humans, a pile of human bodies that was set there as a diversion, put there naked to look like hosts, which I thought was funny.
That was that was the response team?
Correct.
Yeah, he said that's Lippler. That is our response team. Like, oh shit. So they're not coming, or they've been here, but no, we're screwed now. But yeah, I'm really hoping that they bring back Clementine, since she didn't get injured. The death variable, she didn't get injured in her head.
We're going to talk about that at the end when we go to the next episode, because Johnny and I have actually talked about this a little bit. So yeah, I definitely want to cover that with him later on.
All right. Somebody wrote in the chat to UAU, do you think Ford told Bernarnal to kill Teresa? Okay. Yeah, we know he did.
Oh yeah, he definitely did.
Yeah, okay. I'm sorry, I just popped up. I was looking through them, so.
And then he erased all memory of her. Afterwards.
Right.
And they were just acquaintances in his memory.
Are we gonna go ahead, AU?
Did you have something else that you wanted to add, or you just?
I was just gonna. I saw a thing. I think it was Hack's Dogma talking about Dr. Ford and whether he is a villain or not a villain in this whole situation. And I kind of lean towards not being a villain.
Wow.
Okay. But this is my take on it. I think what Dr. Ford wants is to free these hosts and to let the world know about him, just to get his name out. Like in his speech, he talks about, being music like Chopin and Beethoven and Mozart, and
or Jeffrey Dahmer.
There you go. And like the time he comes in and rips the sheet off the host and like cuts his face with the scalpel in front of the tech, you see him do things like that, and you're like, okay, wait a minute. It's just, I think he's trying to help, but I think it's for selfish reasons.
Absolutely. What do you think, Johnny?
Well, he actually laid out his motives a little bit. I don't think he wants humankind to survive, so it depends on whose side you're on. Because he was talking about how you and the host are more noble than any human can be. All we do is kill and destroy everything we touch. And you'll have no use for free will unless I take it back, which is one of my favorite.
Yeah. He is. I mean, when I loved the first season, of course, with him. And when you look at him, his eyes, when he has that stare that he gives you, it's just Hannibal Lecter. And I just can't break him away from that character.
Them blinds close.
Well, I think that's one of the reasons why they cast him in this role.
Yeah, I mean, and he's so brilliant, on the show. And you were right, AU, that he was behind everything going on. So, awesome job, dude. Because I was agreeing with you on that. And I'm like, yes, it had to have been him. It had to. There was just too many coincidences. So.
Well, thank you.
Do you think,
first of all, let me answer your question. In regards to Ford being a villain or whatever, I think, as far as I have to say, compared to other human beings, he's probably the worst person that there is in history, because he lures people into this park thinking they're going to have a good time, etc. He takes all their money and then he kills them. So yeah, without a doubt.
Is it him taking the money, or is that Delos taking the money, though?
Well, he takes the money and uses it. I mean, he took Delos' money, right?
I guess restarted. So. Yeah, I guess he has, he spends the money how he needs it, as far as supplies and whatever, and hiring and firing, he runs the place. Yes.
Yeah. They also have they also have used the Cradle to and the host to basically log the consciousness and habits of the guests. Not the consciousness, but to be able to recreate the guests. They've been using them as an experiment So that leads me to think that there's lots of empty shells in the Valley Beyond.
Yeah, I can't wait to see what that is. I just can't make up my mind about it.
So obviously the Q-18 gets into a big gunfight, and Angela gets hit, and she realizes, this is my moment. I've got to go down to the cradle. And she stands exactly in the same spot as Bernard was, in most of the last episode.
Right.
And she takes the perfect pose as the Barbie doll looking person and lures
the
security guy down there. No kidding, me too. I'm right there with you. So the funny thing is, he is one of these guys that is the super macho. All he does is hang around with these guys that want to kill other guys with guns, and she's being compliant. And I think that's what started this whole, okay, what's going on here? She's not armed. How could she possibly hurt me? I'm the big, bad, tough guy.
Oh, yeah.
And he gets lured into, let me grab what's under your belt. And it happens to be a big ball.
Not what he was, not his ball that he was expecting.
Yeah, not the same ball. So I thought that scene was like so practical and so ridiculous at the same time. What did you guys think?
I agree.
I think they need to have a better training video. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, amen. I mean, dude, you're really going to fall for that after everything you've been going through. I mean, come on.
Well, you got to remember, this guy is pretty new to the scene. He only came in at the beginning.
That's true. Yeah. But he knows these are robots that are out to kill him. And so, I mean, I guess she just seduces him, and that's all there is to it.
Maybe she liked the picture from the back end.
Yes. And then, she spinning around him and kind of getting him off balance a little bit.
That's a good way to put it.
Kind of getting his mind away from the job that he's
Johnny, about
this
training. You didn't practice your military training with little girls
with hot girls, right? Yeah, really.
Right?
Yeah, but she was just shooting at him.
Yeah.
Get on the ground or something. Yeah. Anyways, it was a beautiful somatic moment. I mean, I did like it. I loved the way she went out if she had to go out. I mean, before that, she was killing folks left and right. She was going John Rambo on them. I was loving it. And, her and then Clementine going down, at least no headshot there, like you said. But I just thought it was a good moment. It was pretty poetic, in my opinion.
A little question I wanted to mention about the Cradle. I can't remember what episode in season 1 where Charlotte and Teresa are talking, and she's saying that Ford has his data backed up somewhere that they can't access. So, do you guys think the Cradle being destroyed is going to keep Dr. Ford away now, or do you think he has some other secret place he can work his consciousness out of? I don't want to say server, but I guess something like that.
Yeah, I think it's very possible. You kind of, when you said that about Teresa saying they have a backup they don't know about, they already knew about the Cradle. So, yeah, there has to be something.
Yes.
Yeah, you made a good point with your question, actually.
Thank you.
Yeah. There has to be something. Plus, Ford is not going to be the type of guy that's just going to give up his consciousness for the betterment of host kind.
I've heard people saying that he's going to degrade pretty quickly, but I don't know if Bernard's ready to be left on his own yet.
Well, yeah, he's got a few days.
I definitely think Johnny hit on the perfect point. Ford is smarter than that. He already knows the degradation issue. He already knows why he went into the Cradle, etc. So Johnny hit it right on the money.
Yeah, he did. Okay. Somebody wrote, Go ahead, but I'm gonna look.
No, I was gonna say Bernard goes back in to the cradle because of the memory that he has, and we see him with Ford going to see Arnold's house. I thought that was pretty cool, seeing that we had seen it in the very first episode unconstructed, and this is basically the finished product.
Yes.
So when we get done with that, obviously Dr. Ford jumps into Bernard's head and they go back to the actual physical real life cradle. So tell me what you thought about that scene, Johnny.
I don't know. That got me thinking to whether he's really out of the cradle or not. Because he talks about, I can't remember the exact quote, I had it here, but Ford talks about having, Elsie specifically says you've been in there an hour. And then Ford talks about having an eternity in the palm of your hand and infinity or a lifetime in an hour or something of that nature, leading me to think that perhaps Bernard is still in the cradle. But I don't know. I could be reading into it too much. That's just kind of my thoughts on it. I don't know if he's out yet, because the way he was walking through and nobody was trying to kill him, but everybody else was fighting. It's almost like he's walking through a simulation.
That was a little strange. Yeah, I agree with you on that point, because he's just standing there in the control room with the map and like nobody's paying any attention to Bernard, you know? So, excuse me, I didn't mean to do that loud.
And then you also have Anthony Hopkins as a projection.
Yes.
As well, which is still kind of cradle-like. But, you know.
If he, you know, if he's gonna, since the cradle's gone, he's gonna have to stay in Bernard's head and get him to be willing to fight more, because he doesn't, you know, I don't know if that's the memories they gave him or the Samaritan reflex. Yeah, right. And that's another tinfoil theory I wanted to ask you guys about. It's actually from the episode before, but I didn't get to talk to anyone about Teddy's brain being in Bernard when he's on the beach when he wakes up, and I'm like, what? Just because he woke up on the train?
An answer to that. Before we talk about that, though, I did want to say hi to everybody in the chat.
Yes, I've been looking through it.
Living My Rhapsodies here, Renee from House Stark, Nancy T, Mrs. Cronall. If you guys don't know Catherine Cronall, she's does a great channel. She has two channels actually. She does one on Sundays where she does a reread of Game of Thrones, and then she also has a channel where she does all kinds of nails.
And who is that again?
Mrs. Cronall. She goes by Catherine.
Oh, I see it. Okay.
Yep.
All right. I'll be sure and check her out.
One of the most understated fans of WestWorld. Thunderclap participates a lot of podcasts and a lot of Q&A. He brings up a lot of points to a lot of people, and I just really appreciate all the effort he puts in. He was brought up on the Shat on TV podcast not too long ago, and so those guys really know what they're talking about. And so Thunderclap, I really appreciate your help.
Nice.
Yes, I see Broke Black Man. I love his name and watching his reaction videos. And Chrissy of Old Stones. I've seen those guys in a lot of chats. All right, so
Don Willie was here earlier. Wanted to say hi to him. Thanks so much for being here. Linda R is here. Smokahontas.
Smokahontas.
Sonia here. Thank you so much for subscribing. I really appreciate that. Thanks again for all the thumbs up in the video. That really does help.
Yeah.
I'm not monetized. I don't ask for any money or of any kind, so you never have to worry about that. Red Walrus is here, so thanks for that. Iron Tron, Mr. Twitter himself.
Cammy O just said hey to all of us.
Thanks, Cammy. Thank you very much. Lauren's Corner all the way from Scotland. Neo Planter.
Oh.
Yeah, thank you again for being here. Yeah, Mrs. Cornell, by the way, is in Switzerland.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's I've never traveled to Europe.
So thanks again for
in
the chat. I really do appreciate it.
Me too. Since y'all are listening to a first timer here. So
So where do we leave off? We've got Bernard.
We were in the house, right?
Yeah, we were. So
no, that was the cold open. We've already gone to
the part where did his family go? They just where do y'all think his father and mother and brother? What happened to them? Or does it even matter, really?
Well, are you talking about Fords?
Yes, the ones that Arnold made, the more robotic ones.
Oh, yeah, the little kid Ford's dead. MIB blew his head off. And I don't know where the other ones went to. They're probably doing something for Ford.
Okay.
I didn't see them inside the house, so they didn't make them known.
Yeah, that's why I was wondering you guys' opinion.
But I was talking about the house, Arnold's house.
Oh,
that was in
Arnold's
the park.
house.
You're right. You're absolutely right.
Okay. Yeah, that's a nice house. I think it's beautifully designed. So Dr. Ford says they used that place to, test him for his fidelity and all of that kind of stuff.
Yeah, Dolores tested him, actually.
Yeah, Dolores. So why do you think that was added? That it was a home he was having built?
Just wanted to say hi to Bridge 4 and also Plexi Bertrand. Just real quick, because I know Kevin's not going to stay on very long, but Plexi's a longtime friend of mine and just love her. So thanks for being here. Appreciate it. Alicia Kingston's here. Thanks again for coming, guys. I really appreciate it. And you were saying your question was in regards to Arnold's house?
Yes. I mean, it might not be that important of a part of the storyline as far as it goes, but why was Arnold's house used in the simulation? Why? I mean,
it was built.
It could have been anywhere, really, but.
According to Ford, Arnold built it there as he created everything here, is exactly what he said. It was a house to where he was going to move his family actually into the park, according to Ford.
Oh, I thought he was going to have them outside of the park. Okay.
That apparently was a simulation, and or see, I don't know if that was a simulation or if that's Dolores' memory or if that's Bernard's fidelity test still. But I'm pretty sure it's Bernard's fidelity test because of the house, and the house doesn't fit the city landscape. Right. Everybody made a point of that.
I mean, would you really want your family living in the park too?
Oh, no, he didn't build it there for that reason. He built it there so he could see what it looked like in real life.
Yes. Okay.
Kind of like, how you have an architectural drawing with the electric and plumbing and all that. But this is actual life-like simulation. They do that a lot with landscaping and architecture now. But this is because he's a programmer, this is what he knows, and this is why he did it that way. I think it's just a familiarity.
Yeah, to help with gaining the fidelity and that kind of stuff.
Well, remember Arnold. Okay, all right.
Go ahead.
No, I was just saying that Arnold didn't need fidelity issues because he's not a.
Okay.
He's not a host that we know of, and Bernard is not.
I meant
Arnold.
Bernard. I'm sorry.
Right. So we don't need to have Bernard know everything about Arnold, just his behavior and his achievement and his ability to program. That was really what they were after, is trying to get him to be as smart as Arnold.
Gotcha.
But different.
Somebody wrote in the chat earlier that Ford acted the way he did because he was ticked. Oh, they used a different word, but he was mad that Delos was trying to steal his invention, and that's why he's doing what he's doing now, trying to get rid of them. That was just something I saw in the live chat. I don't mean to go backwards, but
yeah, I mean that's part of it.
Yeah,
I mean,
it is,
because
he definitely has a complex, you know.
Well, that and Delos is going for immortality, amongst other things that I don't think we even know yet.
Yeah.
He had a lot of different motivations, and he's got a few days to get out of Bernard if my theory is right, and he's going to go to his backup Cradle. But yeah, we'll see about that.
Why do you think? I don't mean to interrupt. After this question, I'll be quiet. Why do you think he's gonna have to leave Bernard?
Because it's gonna degrade, like he had said. He's got a few days.
Okay.
And
I remember him saying he would degrade, but I thought he meant as he would degrade if he was in a body.
Yeah, he is in Bernard's body right now.
Well, yeah, that's true. I kind of meant like his own body, you know, like a separate one from Bernard. But I got you. Okay.
No, Johnny answered it perfectly. I'll just bow to his wisdom.
He did. He did.
So next we get Maeve being chased into the house, and then the man in black finds her, and that whole scene. Was there anything that stood out from you, you know, as far as the actual confrontation that Maeve had with him?
Go ahead, Johnny. You take this one first.
Well, first off, Lawrence, well, you know, the man in black's always thinking every single thing's forward, which I think is hilarious, and I think it's going to be his downfall in the end. To quote Maeve, I can't speak for Ford, but I don't give a fuck how you die as long as I get to watch.
Yeah.
So that was great.
That was. Yeah.
It was interesting that she couldn't control Lawrence, and then she made a note that I'm glad to see you're awake. But it seems like she did help him remember, or make him remember.
Well,
which I thought was.
Do you think the cradle could have exploded around the time he remembered? Started waking up? Or would that have nothing to do with it?
Lawrence had already been remembering, because he remembered the man in black had a daughter. Yeah.
Right.
So.
Okay. Yeah, I love Lawrence, the actor that plays him, Clifton Lewis Jr.
Yeah.
But yeah, Maeve. Oh yeah, that was probably one of my top scenes of the whole show. You know.
So BBM said that he agrees with Johnny. Also, Maeve's body is way more powerful, so why not hop in there?
Yeah.
I don't know if BBM has been listening to my videos, because I've been saying all along this whole year that Ford is Maeve. Maeve is basically doing exactly what Ford has been doing, and has been his new body from the very beginning. But after this episode, well, who knows?
No. I don't agree, but yeah, her personality is so the opposite.
So you should agree with him.
Oh, we don't all agree. That's what makes this fun.
Yeah. Well, I don't see how he could just hop into Maeve's body, like, you know, boom. I mean, that seems like
you have to get that little
you'd have to
pearl out of there.
Yeah, that'd be kind of a hard thing, like a little bit of work involved for him to switch to another body. But I can see him. I mean, I think he was the one that had programmed Maeve to do all the stuff she did when she first woke up in first season 1, all the way to getting on the train.
So Lauren's Corner has a great question, one that I think is really important. Do you believe that maybe Ford was in love with Arnold? Oh. That may be a reason why he recreated him.
Yeah, he is. Go ahead. sorry.
And the fact that he, keeps those Bernard bodies in the basement.
It could be. I mean, he seems to be the only person that Dr. Ford has any sort of feelings of empathy or friendship or anything out of all the characters on the show. To me.
Right.
So I think it's a possibility.
He's the lone wolf, in my opinion. Yeah.
But you and I have discussed this, Johnny, where the relationship
between
Arnold and Bernard, Arnold, has been very strange at best.
Right. Gotcha. I mean, and Ford had never been married. We've never heard him even talk about a woman except when he's plotting to kill them. Yeah, I mean, there's really something there. They argued like a married couple.
They did, yeah. I agree with you on that one.
I mean, there is a good point there. I don't know if that's going to be a big reveal, but I mean, it would make sense. They definitely had more than just a friendship, even if it was just like a platonic, super best friends forever. It was more than just a regular friendship for sure.
Yeah, and Dr. Ford mentioned, Bernard didn't like people, or Arnold didn't like people very much, and so for him to have a friend like Dr. Ford, maybe it was more than that. I mean, it's definitely possible.
Yeah, Linda R. brings up a good point. In season 1, we get Ford in the basement, level B82, with Wild Bill Hickok drinking and talking about the lady with the white shoes. You remember?
Gotcha.
So
yes.
He's already shown kind of strange behavior.
Yes. Yes. I agree with you on that. I agree on that one.
Yeah.
But I don't really know what else to say except that it's a possibility.
I agree. I think you're onto something, Lauren, without a doubt.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a good theory, Lauren.
So going back to Maeve and the kicking ass of the Man in Black.
Yes.
Can you tell me when did you think the Man in Black was going to die? Or did you?
No. That's my answer. Go ahead, Johnny.
When Lawrence hesitated, I knew it wasn't going to happen, but I was jumping up and down hoping it did because I made a theory video about Lawrence killing him. So I was hoping it would happen, but when he paused for that long, you knew. I mean, that's how it happens in every show or movie. They're going to get clipped. So
yeah,
where was Hector and everybody?
Yeah, that's a good question. And I'm also like, it's too soon for the Man in Black to leave the story.
Gotcha.
Unless Grace is going to be the Woman in Black, which would be awesome.
Yeah, that could be it. I can't wait to see what happens with her. If she finds him, or if he finds another hidden med kit somewhere, or I don't know.
Remember,
use one of those.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
5 bullet wounds, but go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was just going to say that Sizemore was on the buggy that took Maeve.
Mm-hmm.
Sizemore was with Felix and Sylvester before, so obviously they left those two behind. And
I kind of.
Sylvester stayed with Sizemore, but I don't know what they did with him.
Right, he's not there. So
yeah. And Felix went running after, Maeve and the Ghost Nation, looking like they were retreating, but
more than likely they will find the Man in Black and fix him.
I got something I'm going to go ahead and call it.
Okay.
Grace, say that again? And Grace and Hector and them are going to get there at the same time as the Man in Black, and it's going to be a awkward showdown. That would be interesting.
So,
Grace is chasing after her father.
Yes.
Hector and Felix and Armistice and her Doppelbot are chasing after Maeve. They're all going to come to that spot, or they should. I would think that would be interesting. interesting confrontation.
Yes. I just you know, we got to see what the Valley Beyond is. And my brother was telling me he saw a video where somebody had matched up the landscapes of where it's flooded. Do you guys think that the Valley Beyond was flooded? Is that that's where it's located? Okay.
Yeah, it was flooded.
My opinion is those giant terraforming machines that Ford used to dig up Escalante weren't necessary to dig up a town that was buried in like, what, 20, 30 feet of sand? So I think he was doing more with them than what everybody realized. So.
Yeah, he built something over there where the agave plantation was. I don't think we've seen that. Have we, AU?
Seen what?
Where the agave plantation was. Remember he destroyed that with Teresa there?
Correct. Yes, we don't know where that was, except for the fact that the landscaping was changed, and it was used to dig up part of Escalante.
It didn't seem like it was anywhere near the Mesa. I can say that, but
that is for
I don't. Other than that, I don't really have a guess, except it was on the outskirts of Escalante, like you said.
Yeah, we're gonna see it without the water this next episode. That's where the couple's standing right on the edge of the Valley Beyond. You can see a little bit of like square mounds of dirt, so you can tell it's been terraformed there.
Yeah.
So Laura D has a question. What will Carl Strand's next move be?
They're gonna wake up.
First.
They found out where Abernathy, where Abernathy's unit is. They're going to the Valley Beyond. I don't know exactly where, but they have a location. Bernard told them at the end. Right. If it's Sector the right location, I don't know.
Zone 4, right?
4, yeah.
Yeah, Section 16 Zone 4.
And why do you guys, this isn't part of the episode, think Bernard's saying he killed them all? I still haven't, I know that's back away, so we don't have to discuss it, but it's just something that, I've been thinking about, so.
Ford probably made him kill them all like he made him kill the security guards. That would just be a simple explanation.
Yeah.
But there's some crazy theories we could get into with that.
Yeah, and maybe they'll get back to it, but Dolores was going to use, they're talking about getting all these like Abernathy and people out of the park and all this stuff, but what about the devices, the explosive devices? I never hear them talk about the explosive devices that are in C6 of their vertebrae.
Right.
That Maeve had them take out.
Yeah. Well, I think that's what that little machine they have is checking for.
It does, yeah.
Because that's the same spot. Now, nobody's really said if that's what it's checking, but if they checked Maeve, she wouldn't have it.
That's true. Well, in the timeline, I'm not sure where it is, but when you see Teddy's body and all the other bodies that they've taken out of the lake, it seems like Dolores is leaving the Mesa now, so some people had thought that she would, like she was talking about her father burning the cows with Teddy, that's what she was going to do with those bodies. Well,
there's a lot of mention of blue tongue and a virus. So I wouldn't put it past some kind of, because they still talk about something being at the Valley Beyond that can destroy everything. Abernathy is a failsafe on a failsafe in case a catastrophe happens, is exactly what Hale said. So, I think on top of him having more than one person's consciousness, or at least their, what would you call it, AU, their brain data in there, I think he also has a bunch more information. That's why he has so much information they can't even download it off in time. That's why Hale wanted to cut his head off and just get the
I wish Dolores had gone after Charlotte with that bone saw. Oh, so wanting her to get her.
Well, she dramatically paused, and I told you what happens when they dramatically pause.
I know. course, Daddy has to say, "Oh, Dolores," and I'm like, "Damn it."
Yeah, we can't get rid of Tess Thompson yet.
I know she's nice in real life, but
yeah,
and I was kind of getting sick of Dolores, like just kind of getting on my nerves up on her high horse kind of deal. But I liked her better this last episode.
Plexi has a question that I wanted to cover.
Okay.
It says, were Ghost Nation immune to Delos employees' commands, and did Arnold create them to align basically a self-contained group? And I think that question was answered when we went to Shogun World, when Maeve found out that she has to speak the native tongue of whoever they're commanding. So once she learned that she could speak Japanese, she was able to command the Japanese shogun and samurais and ninjas, etc. But before then, she didn't realize that she had to speak the Lakota language. So that I hope that answers your question, Plexi.
But I don't think she can control Akecheta, the chief.
I don't either.
We'll see.
Why do you think he wanted Maeve?
I think he's the first one to find the center of his maze. That's what I think.
So y'all, let me ask you guys, y'all think only the Native Americans and Kizzy from episode 1, he was half corn, Kissy, he was half Cornhusker, so, he was only half Native American, but he still had the maze tattooed in his scalp. Then Mr. Costa finds the one, and nobody knows what it is. So do y'all think just the Ghost Nation has those?
No.
Okay. Why?
Under the scalp, I'm not sure. It seems like they're saying that that's the only thing. I think to me, I think it ties into what's going to happen in the next episode, and him seeing the Dreamwalkers, or whatever you want to call them, and him walking in and seeing Arnold dead, and then finding the maze. And then I think it's going to become almost a religious type thing. And I do believe we're going to find out that he gained consciousness for sure.
I just want to read one thing from the chat, and then I want to know why AU says no about the Ghost Nation. But Plexibertrand, yes. Ghost Nation don't interact with anyone, and you never saw them in any of the repair shops, etc. So that's kind of an interesting point. But maybe they were repairing them at a refurbishment shop that we just didn't see. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah. I don't have much to say on that. I might have seen him one time, but I can't say for sure. I know we're going to see him next episode, Wake Up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead, AU, with your no.
It was a quick answer, and I think
no.
I think the maze has more to do with the originals than anything else. But I could be wrong.
Akecheta is an original, though.
Yes.
No. I'm not saying that he doesn't have it. I'm saying it doesn't have to necessarily be only the GN has it. I think the GN is just another part of the story.
Do you think like a different culture of hosts would have it on a different part of their body? Say, as the Native American has it under the scalp, a different, Exactly. I don't know where to say it would be on the part of anyone's body, but you know what I mean.
Exactly.
Yeah, and they scalp folks, but we never have actually. Yeah, it does. We've never actually seen them scalp someone and what it looks like underneath. So.
So as far as the were you going to say something, Carrie?
I was just going to say, go ahead with whatever you were ready to talk about now.
Yeah, I was going to jump into the next section of the story. After Maeve gets rescued, basically by Sizemore, and
good for him.
And Dolores interacts with Maeve. I thought it would be interesting to talk about the two basic approaches. Obviously, we saw earlier this year that they were interacting. They came to this crossroads. Now they're at a different crossroads with a totally different result. So I just wanted to get your opinion on what their methods are and then what's held them back.
Okay. I'm not sure I'm not sure if Dolores knows what Maeve's intentions are exactly. And maybe if she did, she would have gone ahead and killed her because she might not feel like she's as much on her side as she wants everyone to be. But other than that, I mean, I thought it was pretty fascinating, you know, that when Maeve said she made a promise, she said, okay, go, whatever she said, follow your own path or whatever. Did she say we'll meet again? I can't remember.
Well, that was the second time they crossed paths too, and Dolores let Maeve go with no problems. And Maeve told her straight up that that's not the way. You know,
right.
I'm not doing it their way. Revenge is just another prayer at their altar.
Yeah, that was a great line.
Dolores is more complicated than what we're seeing. What we're getting is just her fire and fury, but there's more there that we're not seeing.
Yes.
In my opinion.
Are you talking about Dolores?
I agree.
Sorry?
Yeah, I'm talking about Dolores. There's more there than fire and fury, but right now you got the polar opposites. You got love and compassion, and you got hate and revenge. And that's basically what you're seeing there is those two sides, and that both sides have their weaknesses. That maybe a happy medium is what you need.
Yeah.
And Bernard's too timid.
What now?
And Bernard's just too timid. So he's not ready yet either.
No, he's not. But I'm hoping they'll find Felix and Sylvester, and at least Felix, to help Lee, because I doubt he really knows much about patching. Maybe he does know more about patching folks up than I would think he would. But I don't think they saw the Man in Black after everything that happened. And that's why he chose to be left behind. Because he's still on his mission. So I know I changed the subject a little bit. I apologize.
But, who chose to be left behind?
Yeah. The Man in Black.
Who chose?
The Man in Black.
Oh,
yes.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I kind of went off on a tangent there. But
No, that's okay.
I don't think they saw him. He was hiding behind the thing.
I don't either. Yeah.
He's pretty jacked up. He got hit in the lung at least. Right there under the hearts where he got hit. And a few wing shots.
And they have shown like some of the season 2 trailers with him holding. Is that for next week? With him holding the pistol to his temple?
Or whenever Grace dies.
What now?
I said whenever Grace dies.
Oh, okay. Oh man. And it'll be his fault in some kind of way. But I thought for sure Dolores was going to shoot Maeve at first. I really did. And I can't really speak to what made her change her mind. Unless maybe, like Johnny was saying, some of her love and compassion from her Dolores character, you know, kind of came through. Maybe she, like, feels bad about what she did to Teddy.
Oh, she does. She does.
You know, and so now she doesn't want to do that to someone else. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah, I thought that was one of the significant parts about their confrontation is that Maeve would never do that to one of her companions, like Hector or Armistice or what have you. She gave them basically a choice to help or not. And Dolores doesn't seem to do that. Especially with Clementine and Angela, and they all seem to be programmed, especially with the Wyatt gang.
Yes. I wonder how many of those guys there are around.
there's always like 5 or 6, it seems like, right there.
Yeah.
The other person that we saw a big move in their personality was Stubbs. It seemed like he was really putting on the aggression.
I'm putting in for a raise.
Exactly.
Well, first thing he said was, you know, they're not here to help anyone. They haven't helped a single guest. They're going to kill us because we know too much. And he was trying to get out of there with Bernard. But I think something did happen on his way back from the Ghost Nation letting him go. That also probably impacted him, that the host decided just to let him go as well.
Yeah, that seems weird how they just disappeared.
Johnny, is that James Franco?
It's not mine.
I was hoping we could get a picture of him. Anyway.
All right, Broke Blackman says Sizemore knows how to patch host up because you need a pass that class to become a narrator.
Skin wrapping 101.
I just caught that.
They did show a new body being made in the trailer for the beginning of season 2. Like a body in a cast, like Maeve was last season. Maybe, I don't know if Maeve would get a new body, but that's possible. Also, another possibility is that could be someone else's body, but we could speculate all day on that.
Yeah, we
anyways, go ahead.
Could it be another body for William, possibly? I mean,
I don't think he wants to live forever anymore.
Well, maybe, yeah, not anymore. Maybe, I'm sure before all of this, but not now, since he's, seeing what happens. And that was a really dick move, what he did to his daughter, just leaving her behind with no horse or anything, Well, I know. Like, come on, man.
I'm pretty sure he thinks she's a host and Ford's messing with him. Like I said, will be his downfall.
Yeah. He's starting to sound a little paranoid. All right.
Where are we at? Let's see.
We were talking about Dolores and Maeve.
Yeah, and then we got let's see. Go ahead, AU.
I was going to say we should back up just a little bit to the Dolores and Charlotte confrontation because those two really had personality. I mean, if there were guys in this room in those characters, you would say that that's about normal testosterone level. But these ladies really were laying it down on each other, weren't they?
Yes. Right, and the gall of hell to just try to talk to Dolores like, "Hey, what's up, bud? You're doing great. Like, what is wrong with you?
You idiot!" And Stubbs just backs away like, "Okay," And then she has the gall to say, "You got to rip it out of his fucking head," And I'm like, "Girl, you got some cojones."
But
when Dolores asks, "How do I get the key out of him?" She just basically tells her to rip her dad's head open. Hey, please get her, Dolores, please.
Yeah, something interesting Abernathy says is, she telling Hell, it's you who wants to become like us. And
yes.
Your dreams will die in the valley along with all the souls you've gathered there. I thought that was very interesting. That's what makes me think they have like bodies on reserve waiting for people to become immortal. You've got your immortal body reserved, possibly.
I saw somebody write in the live chat, it might have been Thunderclap, about that's what's in the valley beyond is bodies.
Yeah, they have to have a lot of those made for the human host hybrids that they're trying to accommodate, right?
Right.
Because that's how they're getting, they're getting the DNA, they're putting together their experiences in the park to determine what they like and what they don't like and that sort of thing.
Yes. What company? Go ahead, sweetheart.
I was just going to say also, to add to that note, on what's inside Abernathy's head, he talks about his head is full of howling and sorrows. So that makes you think he's got, I guess, those consciousness or, the people's memories inside of his head.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and it's amazing to me that they can fit all of that data in one of those little pearls, but they can't do it on like a whatever computer the guy and the tech guy was trying to use.
Correct.
To download the information. So that's really, really cool technology.
So I think it's needless to say we're not going to see Lewis Hertham again, right?
No, I'm sad, but I would say probably no.
Yeah, I would definitely say he's a goner.
He's done such a great job acting, but yeah, Dolores, I don't think she actually cut his head off, but she opened it and took
For
out
sure.
the
For
key,
sure.
you know.
One of the things that I wanted to ask you too is Stubbs gets into a fight with Teddy, and Teddy's his aggression is up to a 9 or 10 already. So why didn't he kill Stubbs?
I was wondering the same thing. Johnny, you got an opinion about it? Because, honey, I couldn't figure that out either.
Stubbs is a host confirmed? No. I'm not saying it's impossible that he's a host. I don't think he is, but I don't know. Maybe that wasn't on Teddy's mind right then, but it was odd because, 5 minutes later, he destroys Coughlin, like completely annihilates his face into the ground.
And he tenderized it.
It's either something that's in the programming not to hurt Stubbs that Ford put in there, or that's the only thing I can think of. Either that or Stubbs is a host, which I don't really like to say that. So I'll say it's in some Ford programming not to hurt Stubbs, the same reason they took him and held him until, I guess they let him go when they wanted to let him go, whenever Ford wanted to let him go, in my opinion. So, yeah.
What do you think?
Don't hurt Stubbs.
Mr. AU. Some people are writing stuff in the chat about Hemsworth, halfway Hemsworth or something, just making jokes of the poor guy.
Poor Luke.
Because I don't know if y'all have ever seen a picture of him and his brothers, but yeah, he's like 2 feet shorter.
Yeah.
It's not that much, but yeah, he's the short brother.
Yes.
I'm 5'9" and my brother's 6'4", so I still have pain.
Okay. Yeah. I'm only about 5'2", about maybe 5'3", so. My mom's only 4'11", so she's got it worse than I do.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah, she's a little
Hobbits.
one. Yes.
Alabama Hobbits.
Oh, yeah. I can't believe Johnny and I live so close together. I know this is way off topic.
Both Carrie and Johnny live in Alabama.
Yeah, about 2 hours apart from each other.
It's weird,
when I first saw him, I was like, that's a good old boy if I ever heard one. And then I sent him a message on YouTube, and I was like, yeah, I'm from Birmingham. And he's like, I'm from Alabama, too. And I always go to football games down in Auburn, which is right next to the town he lives in. But he's a Roll Tide fan. So, when you grow up in Alabama, from your birth, you're supposed to pick Auburn or Alabama. I mean, that's just how it is here.
Gotcha. So Cameron Strand has an answer for our question.
Okay.
When Dolores and Teddy entered the lab to confront Charlotte and Stubbs, they didn't know which one of them might have access to the decryption key.
Oh, good point.
That's a great.
There you go.
Answer.
Yes. Oh, somebody wrote, I love me some Southern folks. No, that's a great point. What did you say, Johnny?
I was going to say my friend Don the Kraken, he loves all kinds of Southern
accents.
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. My accent was a lot like more Southern, like daddy and stuff. And then I went to a Catholic high school, and they talked like Valley girls, and so I kind of got a mixture of both before it was over with.
Too funny.
But I'll say things sometimes, and it's like, God, I sound so Southern. Goodness gracious. But anyway. So I can. Who made the comment? I totally agree with her that about Teddy and why he didn't attack Stubbs, because he was more concerned about the other situation going on.
Yeah, I would have never guessed that. So good point.
Yes.
Was Dolores like, "Hey, don't kill anyone until we get the key"? I mean, it's very possible. They come in all
maybe
looking like, I don't know, reminding me of Reservoir Dogs when they're walking down the hallway for some reason. I don't know why.
The red hallway, when they show that view, always reminds me of like a Stanley Kubrick movie. Like towards the map room, which that hasn't happened a lot this season, but
well, actually, that's where we're going to go next, because that's where Ford and Bernard are talking to each other, and they get rid of Elsie. So obviously, Elsie's still alive, and
yay,
yeah, for sure. And so we're going to get her gone. She's going to be in the parking garage going, "I'm still waiting for Bernard." You know,
she's going to help Maeve, maybe.
Oh,
she might be able to help Maeve.
Oh, that's true, because they're downstairs, right?
Yeah. He told her to go get a vehicle, or was he going to get the vehicle and her get gunpowder or some firepower?
Yeah, he told her to get a vehicle that they needed to get to the Valley Beyond. Dolores did.
Okay, well, yeah, that's. I wouldn't. Yeah. They need Elsie. Hax came out and like made me nervous and said that he's predicting Elsie's going to die because Bernard said she was, if anybody could right this ship, it would be her. And he's like, so I'm going to call it. She's going to die soon. And now I'm like so nervous every time I watch an episode.
Well, last live stream I told AU that if Bernard doesn't kill her, Elsie host confirmed. So I have to say Elsie's a host now because I'm a man of my word. So she's a host.
Okay. All right.
So we have almost like no humans left.
Yeah, tell me about
it.
They're
gone. No, I think Stubbs is human.
Yeah, I do too. And
so
definitely.
We got Ford basically telling Bernard to kill these two security guys when they present no danger to Bernard.
Right.
You know, they confirmed that he's okay and they're going to leave him alone. And then he's like, well, pick up the gun and kill him. So he's not really giving him a chance to be free, is he?
No, he's not. I don't know if he's trying to help Bernard or just to get him in there to fight the war for him, or what his motivations are, except to just get rid of every person from Delos he possibly can.
I'll say this: it is confusing because you have Bernard talking about, well, because Bernard takes off all the regulations on the park, all the park safety protocols are turned off now. He says Dolores will have free reign; she'll kill everyone. Ford doesn't seem too concerned with that. Bernard's the one that seems concerned with getting to the Valley Beyond before Dolores does. That's what interests me. It's because it seems like they have two different things they're going for. Because Ford stated specifically that he wants the host to basically take over humankind. So, yeah, what's about to happen will not be your fault, as Ford would say.
Go ahead, AU. And then I had a question I wanted to ask you guys.
No, go ahead. Ask the question.
Oh my goodness, it's going to slip off my tongue now. Oh, it was about the whole third party thing, but we can talk about that another time if y'all want to. Just what y'all think about there being a third party involved and who it could possibly be.
You mean like the corporate research group, or?
Somebody that Charlotte possibly is working for.
Gotcha. That's another Hax theory, but
yeah, it is.
I don't know what. I don't think it's Delos that wants it, and I think Strand. Who was the last security guy that Teddy beat the crap out of? Coughlin,
yeah.
I just got an idea too.
And Charlotte all work for somebody else. They're all they're not all Delos employees.
I haven't bought into that yet, but I could be pleasantly surprised. So,
if Charlotte is Charlie, and she was Arnold's daughter, she would have natural stock in the company, right?
Yes. Plus, she's told a lot of people what she's doing.
That would make some sense. That she would work for a separate, and she'd be like a small stock holder, and she worked for a separate group that maybe is in her interest. I know she doesn't seem to control it, but she does have some more motivations other than just getting the job done, it seems like to me.
Okay. Why do you think she just keeps telling people, though? Like, it's no big deal that she's smuggling data out of the park.
Well, she hasn't told them what it is, and they're all going to be killed anyway by Strand.
I mean, she said a case of a catastrophic event, but does she mean in the park or a catastrophic event in the world? Or what do y'all think?
I think the world.
Okay.
I think there's more going on the outside world than we know about. We don't know much about anything that's going on. But Logan made an interesting comment that, you know, they're in there partying while the whole species burns. So it makes you wonder what is going on.
Yes. So where were we? Go ahead. Hey, you're the moderator, mediator.
He's being quiet today.
He is being quiet.
Well, I'm trying to let you guys answer the questions because it's important. You know, that's why you're on the channel.
Okay.
I don't want to interrupt while you're talking. But the next scene is Bernard waking up to Charlotte after the whole time he's been in this memories spot. And then he tells Charlotte that he's in the Abernathy brain is in. Are you okay?
Yeah.
Me?
Yeah, I'm just hearing some noise. That's all.
Yeah, I am too. I'm hearing a little static, but it might be just where I am, the Wi-Fi.
Gotcha.
That's better.
We see Charlotte. We see Charlotte get out of Bernard that this brain is in section 16, zone 4, and that's when he shares it with. Okay, hold on just a second. All right, now I can concentrate. Sorry. So we get where Carl Strand is. Is getting this information, and they can finally go for that. Did you think that Carl knew where this was all along, or do you think that was a big surprise? Johnny?
Carl didn't seem too surprised, but he seems more of a tactician-like person as well. He hasn't gotten emotional really at all, except kind of when he acted. Well, he seemed like he really just wanted to kill Stubbs. He wanted Stubbs to be the guy that betrayed him. And he's just like, I don't like the look of this dude. I just want to kill him. But we haven't seen much emotion from him, so it's hard to tell whether or not he knew. One thing I took away from the scene is, you know, when she's interrogating him, she says, "You wouldn't lie to me, would you, Bernard?" Really sweet, like a real weird. He's no, and he's got a tear running down his face. And then when he's having those flashes, there's a lot of Charlie flashes, and then it pops up her face like boom. And this whole episode, they shove that in her face a lot. So there has to be something to that. But I don't want to. It's just, I don't know. These crazy theories, man. This show's just insane.
You can come up with all kinds of them, you know. People can. I don't know. I mean, she looks like Charlie, you know. They definitely favor. So I don't know. What do you think about it?
Ford could have did that too, just to mess. I don't know, man. I don't know. Do you got any thoughts on that, AU?
I definitely do. I think we've got a huge situation where they have failed how many times, and how many times are they going to? Sorry, hold on. How many times are they going to let Stubbs, or excuse me, Charlotte and Strand fail before they actually go in there and take over the situation? I mean, that's ridiculous. They should have had it by the gala, for one, and then two, after the forlorn situation, and then this time, all of those times they should have had that data to the destination, but they haven't. So I think it's really critical that they are able to do that.
Yes. What's interesting is it seems like Strand answers to hell as well. I got that kind of. So yeah, that was interesting.
She's got some power with Delos, or a couple of other people have mentioned in the flashback, or in the flashback. I'm sorry, in the live chat, about her working for somebody else. I can't find it exactly now.
Oh my gosh!
But
BBM just brought up something really cool. What if Logan made his own company because he's jealous of what William had done?
Good job.
Oh,
BBM. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, but I like that.
The whole heroin thing killed that for me. I was gonna make a video about Logan being the secret benefactor at the thing, and I was gonna do it, and then that episode come out where he's like, "Oh, he died of an overdose." That doesn't mean he didn't make a company beforehand. Now,
so yeah, when we get to talking about when we get to talking about next week, I have something I wanted to mention about Logan. So y'all don't let me forget.
Well, let's go ahead, because that episode is pretty much over after that. And
yeah, that's true.
They break into the scenes for next week, kind of a thing.
I'm sorry about the static, you guys. I don't know why it's doing it.
No, you're good. I just turned your volume down when you're not talking, so that I can hear.
Okay.
Chrissy had a question about who Charlotte's contact was outside. So let's go back to Chrissy's question.
Yeah, I think that might have been the one I saw.
Oh, okay. So who's the person on the outside that she makes contact with Charlotte? That was the question that she had.
Yes, that was the one I was thinking of.
So it's the same person we heard with Teresa talking to him, the Mandarin speaking person, and then Charlotte was in the bunker 14 that she was talking about the package being delivered. And then this last episode, we saw Charlotte talk about that also. So I hope that answers your question. Who that is, we have no idea.
Yeah, I've tried to look at the messages, and it doesn't really tell you. But yeah.
Thunderclap asked, "Does anyone know what William's last name is?" Do you guys know? Because I don't.
No, I think it's. Most of them have last names if you Google it, but that you didn't even know of.
Yeah.
But I don't know. They've never mentioned it.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think if Grace never mentioned her last name. No, I can't think of it.
Okay. I wasn't sure myself.
So bring up the point we're going to talk about Logan.
When you see the beginning of, they put out 2 trailers, but it's mainly the one with Akecheta and his wife. What'd you say her name was, Johnny?
Kohana. Kohana.
Okay, Kohana. They're looking at the Valley Beyond at one point, but I think either right before or right after that, Akecheta is riding through the desert, and he comes up to the tree where we've seen before that Logan was left naked sitting up against. So do you think it's going to be back in time and he's going to find Logan?
Wasn't Logan on a horse and William slapped it and
he was, and then they showed in a trailer. They showed in a trailer Logan just sitting up against like a dead tree in the middle of the desert.
Okay, yeah.
I don't know if y'all.
Yeah, that's possible. Somebody's got to find him, and they are on the edge of the park. Didn't they say? Wasn't it west? Was the way they were headed out toward the edge of the park?
3 days west.
Yeah, that would make sense. Somebody's got to find him, and I don't think William's going to get him. But they would probably just send a team out there other than a host finding him. But I don't know.
Yeah.
That's just my opinion. I want to make a keynote about the whole Adam and Eve like tone of the trailer with the two Akecheta, and it's almost like that's what makes me think that he gained consciousness or they gained consciousness, because the original sin was basically gaining the knowledge of God, and in this case God is man and their knowledge is consciousness, in my opinion. So I think that's very
and Kohana looks like very amazed at what he's showing her when they're standing over the valley beyond,
it's almost like they were making a life for themselves to me.
Yes. Yes. Oh, Broke Black Man wrote that he bets he said, I bet the last name is Grace of Man in Black because his daughter's name is Emily and she uses the name Grace.
That's her middle name, but maybe.
Yeah, maybe. But what do you think, Abe? You there?
Sorry, I muted myself while I was looking up this
that's okay.
Character. The question that you had was in regards to Logan, and I forgot what it was, so help me out.
It was when you see the trailer for next episode, which is Katsuya, which means remember in Lakota. You see Akecheta riding on his horse in the desert, and there's a tree there that looks just like the one that we last saw Logan leaning up against naked out in the desert. Okay. So do y'all think that he's going to find Logan in this episode, maybe?
Yes. Okay.
And maybe that's when that could give Logan plenty of time to set up another company,
Which is exactly why I was so shocked at BBM's statement, because obviously he comes into play. We just don't know whether, because I don't believe anything the Man in Black says, especially to James Delos in the bunker. Right. So that's definitely not something I wouldn't put past Logan. He seemed like a really smart guy. He's one of those characters that I honestly hated beyond measure in the first season. He just seemed to be just the absolute most annoying person I've ever met.
Yeah, he was a dick.
And so the way he treated William made me think, he's just going to die one way or the other, and the sooner the better. But in this particular case, as the season went on, I realized how wise he was in regards to not only the benefits of the park, but also, not because of his personal gain, but because of what it could do for his company. And then this year, we got even a better understanding of what issues there were with the park's creation through him. His torment of these hosts are going to create a new species, and it's the death of ours, basically.
Yeah.
And that's
I think Logan's a good contender. That was a good theory. And what else was in the trailer? Oh, they take his wife away.
Right.
What do you think about that?
Well, she dies or someone dies in his arms from the photos I've seen.
Oh, I haven't seen photos. Okay.
That's why he has the blood hands on his face, because he was touched there while whoever he loved.
Oh, that's right. Yes, I remember that. Okay.
Which my crazy wackadoo theory is it's possibly Maeve when she died in the middle of the maze that he was holding. But that's a wackadoo theory, because I think they've taken Kahana away. I don't think they're taking her away to kill her, because it wouldn't make sense for them to kidnap her and then leave her dying somewhere. I think something happened with her. Either she got pregnant, which that's way out there, but something happened to where they were like, oh my gosh, we got to check out this and we got to study her. And then I think that's why we don't get Maeve's backstory, why we haven't seen any of Maeve's backstory yet. We've seen nothing about her creation, nothing before her little narrative with her baby Maeve, which I can never remember her name. What is her name?
She said her doll's name was Anna, but I don't. Go ahead, A.
Maeve's daughter.
Maeve's daughter? Oh, I'm sorry. I've got it here. I'll get it for you in just a second.
Okay. But yeah, I think there's something with that. The bond she has with that child is unlike anything. It's like a human bond with a child. It's almost as if she had it. So there's such a connection with Ghost Nation. Her
name is Maeve. She's played by Jasmine Ray.
Oh, that's the actress's name.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'd have to look it up, because I don't I didn't even know Maeve's last name for a while. That's embarrassing.
But yeah. That's basically my theory on it, but that's my crazy theory. The regular theory would be that, she gets sent back after she gets tested on, and then, I don't know, it doesn't make sense, because she's not around anymore, and I think he is on a quest to find her, basically, trying to remember. That's what the whole episode is going to be about, in my opinion. And then we're also going to remember some other things as well.
It shows a white horse a lot, and I'm wondering. I've always wondered about the wolf and what that represents, and now we've got a horse appearing to hosts, and so I don't know what's
about the wolf is that it's appeared to both human and host.
Yes,
so that's
stared down. He and William had a. I'm saying it's a he, but the wolf and William had a stare down.
It's a he.
Okay. 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 I wasn't looking that hard at you, but anyway. Do you have an opinion on what the wolf means?
Oh, it's definitely a vision of the future, and I'm not sure exactly how that has to do with this story, but it's an interesting vision, especially with us. I think it's a Game of Thrones, not a knockoff, but a nod.
Yes,
I really do, because it doesn't really have any meaning other than the vision of the future.
Okay.
Hey, do you think they're starting to go future world kind of plot on us with this recording all the hosts? I mean, all the guests now, and they're talking about not all of them deserving to live or whatever. So, do you think? I don't know. I hope they don't do that. But I'm just asking, what do you see as far as them going down that road?
Yeah, as far as the future world story, yes. As far as the details in the future, no. But definitely the copying of the hosts. I mean, they were called originals, in the future world movie, and that is the beginning episode's name. So there is that factor. But in regards to the story itself, I don't think I think these guys are way beyond anything we're gonna get from the original movies or series of movies.
Yeah, I don't think they're gonna like replace all the politicians with the hosts or whatever like they did in Future World. But I mean, they're gonna. I don't know.
The design is not take over someone's body and put a robot in its place. It's for the original human beings to live forever. That's the goal. So it's a similar story, but it's a better twist.
I also had a thought. If you have enough money,
I love the way Dr. Ford said it. Like they want to become you. You know, they want to become like a host, not become whom. The way he said it, I can't paraphrase it. I'm sorry to interrupt you, Johnny. Go ahead.
No, you just helped me with my point. Like, let's say you want to be immortal. Most people don't like their own bodies. Let's say you want to be Teddy. The highest bidder gets to be Teddy whenever the the thing is done. I mean, I could see them doing that as well. You know, they're basically selling this body or that body. It's almost like a car at this point. When you're talking about immortality, you might as well go ahead and get what you want.
You know, I haven't seen the original movies, but so in Future World, they actually bring back politicians and scary stuff like that.
Well, they replace them with hosts. And,
oh wow,
yeah.
That's scary.
It's a little cheesy movie, it ain't that?
Yeah, I still feel like I should watch them. Just just to see.
Not to interrupt, but Felicia just joined us. She's going to have obviously the trivia on later.
Yeah, Felicia.
What is that going to be on in an hour? I think it is.
I love trivia.
I think it's 7:00. So.
Okay.
Yep. Citadel of Trivia.
Awesome. Okay, I'll check her out. I love trivia. So.
Yeah, Brooke, if you want to put the link in there, that would be great. 8 Eastern.
8
okay.
Eastern. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Perfect.
BBM. Okay.
Sorry, that's important to me as a YouTube family member. Yeah, I gotta promote the trivia.
Yes,
it's amazing.
I not even knew. I didn't even know she did it. So awesome! I'll be checking her out.
She's last name spelling correctly. Got to pronounce it correctly. You got to be holding your head sideways when you answer.
Yeah, really. That's how my electronics work. Don't stand on that side of the TV. Go stand on the other door. You know.
Yeah.
Because our Wi-Fi is messed up.
And Sword in the Darkness does that. Mary B's super into it. Of course, Milt.
Yes.
Is a lot of help in doing that. I can't tell you how many times I've jumped on when he was practicing, because that OBS is no fun. I don't know how you guys do that every week. Anyway,
I like the Amino app and I make quizzes on there and stuff. But I haven't tried the OBS or anything. So
smart lady. So tell me what else do you think is going to happen in episode 8?
One thing I want to see is the Man in Black and what happens with him. Well, 2 things: Maeve and the Man in Black. I want to see what happens with them. The Native American stuff, I just think we're going to get to see more in depth about them, and I'm really excited for that.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a lot on the Native American side. We're going to see the security team, I'm sure, try to go after or go start toward the Valley Beyond. But I think we're going to get a lot of the backstory of the Ghost Nation and why they've been basically separated from almost everyone in the park. You know, they're in the park, but up until a point, I can't remember how long ago, Ghost Nation hasn't really been super active. Like, you go through a section of Ghost Nation, and that's the place you don't want to get out. And
like where they had the heads on spears.
the way they've been standoffish and not really interacting, I think we're going to find out why that is. And we're just going to find out a lot more about, why they're doing what they're doing.
Yeah.
Basically. And maybe we'll see Logan, butt naked, tied up, sitting on a tree.
Wouldn't that be awesome?
Yeah. Thunderclap wrote to AU, can you let Johnny B know the world in a grain of sand, eternity in an hour is from a William Blake poem. A lot of people have been saying he was quoting Shakespeare. So
I'm going to look that up.
I think I've heard other people say William Blake also, but I just saw that in the chat, AU. So
yeah, I'm pretty sure that's William Blake.
A big William Blake thing.
Oh,
that's one of the things I love about this community is you learn so much, especially about your perspective. When it came to Game of Thrones, we get to see a lot of Norse mythology, Irish mythology, just everything. Tolkien was a huge, and now we get the same kind of backstory through WestWorld. And I think a lot of this applies to, not because it's just so much fun, but it's just a great story about human beings and how we should treat each other, no matter what you look like on the outside. Treat each other with dignity, all the way through. So thanks, Thunderclap, for bringing that up.
Yes.
Definitely the most philosophical show on TV right now, in my opinion.
Yes, I agree. And I've gotten my parents to watch it. My dad kind of just falls asleep. But my mom, she's like, well, I really don't understand. And I'm like, well, some of it, Mom, a lot of these really smart guys and people that watch it, they don't really know what's going on either. So don't make yourself feel like you're stupid or something because you can't figure it out. Because most people don't know what's going on, But Mom, she got into Game of Thrones with me too and all that. So
you demented her, huh?
I did. I nerded her out. She was a nurse for like 30 years, but she gets into a lot more than my dad does. But yeah, I've turned her on to it. So
I think we have seen a lot in this series, both last year and this year. But I think the episode that we're going to see on Sunday is probably going to be the most different than we've seen up to this point, including the Shogun world. But I think it's going to be the best episode there is, just on a storytelling. Because this episode that we got in 7, I think revealed more than anything. To be honest with you, it just seems.
Yeah, like, I agree. I'm looking forward to the Ghost Nation. Somebody had wrote, I think it was Felicia, they were going to go balls out on the Ghost Nation this episode. So,
exactly.
I think it's going to be great too. I can't wait. Sundays are my absolute favorite day. So.
They got a lot to make up for. And the last episode definitely lived up to the title, which is a sculpture of just a muscular with the skin removed, which when you remove the skin, you get a lot of questions answered, but then you have a lot more questions, which I think is very fitting for the episode.
Yeah, they're like the Vitruvian Man. You could throw the Boltons in there. I mean, there's a lot. Some people don't like you to reference Game of Thrones and, WestWorld together.
Justin?
But yeah, exactly. Like Justin. Hey, Justin, if you're on here. But, yeah, I see correlations a lot, and I think that's awesome, and maybe it's just us pulling things out because we're so obsessed with Game of Thrones. I don't know, but
BBM, I got to mention this. Speaking of the Lannisters, I got something for you. I need your address, so PM, DM, or send me an email, whatever you want, aupackmule@gmail.com, and I'll send it to you.
Just put your address in the comment section.
No.
Yeah, we're gonna come up to. I guess he lives in New York. He sounds like it, but Yeah, I watch his reaction videos, but yeah, we'll
although
just be knocking on your door one day.
Carrie, if you're bringing a pizza, he'll be glad to.
Oh, okay, all right. Hey, I'm half Sicilian. I can make him some good stuff.
All right. Well, I think that's going to wrap it up.
Okay.
We've had Carrie on for the very first time on YouTube. Give her a big shout out in the chat there. Johnny Be Good is holding it down like crazy all the time. And this has been a fun
it has
episode for me. Carrie, would you like to say goodbye before we jump off?
I would love to. Goodbye, everyone. Thank you for coming in the chat and listening to me and AU and Johnny, and maybe I can come back on AU. I've still got some technical stuff to figure out, but I'm getting there. So I'm just happy to be here. This is my first time, and so big shout out to AU for helping me along. And this has been a lot of fun, and I just have had a great time. I could do this all day long.
Cool. Johnny, would you like to say goodbye? And thanks again, Carrie, for being on.
You're welcome.
That's right. I just want to say thank you, AU, for having me on. And Carrie, you did great. It was a pleasure.
Thanks, babe.
You can find me at Johnny Be Crazy. That's my YouTube channel. That's about all I've got right now. I also have a WestWorld live stream every Monday on Living My Rhapsodies channel.
I didn't know that.
The time varies, so just be on the lookout for a time. Other than that, that's about it. Thanks, everybody in the chat. Thank you, Gangbangers of Thrones. Just thank you, everyone, for being here. I just enjoy talking about WestWorld.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I want to say thanks also to all the new subscribers I've had. I had 600 last week and 627 this week. So
wonderful.
It's been progression. Not that that's the measure of anything other than the fact that I've got new friends. So I really appreciate that. Thank you so much again for Carrie and Johnny for being on. You guys go check out the Citadel of Trivia a little bit later, and then I'll see you guys next week after we watch episode 8.
Yes. Okay. You guys have a great weekend till what is today? It's Friday, right?
Yeah.
All right,
everybody.
You guys be good. Bye.